kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
From Phoenix Raceway, the Gunr for Safety Rating Truck Series is ready to rock and roll here in Championship Night on Sim Racing Media. Good evening, everyone, and welcome, of course, right here to Phoenix, Arizona, and the site of the championship race for the Gunr for Safety Rating Truck Series. Dave Regal with you alongside of Chris Murphy, as all of a sudden I seem to have had a recent stroke and paused. But here we are, Chris. It's our maiden voyage together. It's these drivers' last performance here, and let's take a look at that all-important playoff bracket. I know that we were talking about it off-air. Let's take a peek as we pull that up. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in and welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. If this is your first time here with Sim Racing Media, welcome to the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast Booth. We're going to be keeping a close eye on Kenny Thompson, Paul Witt, James Yerger, and Mike Aiello Jr.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Happy to be here tonight. Seems like Phoenix is my place to be this week. This is my second night here at Phoenix for a truck race. Really looking forward to this race here with Gunners. And it looks like they're still wrapping up qualifying right now. Our top 4 contenders, as you mentioned, Kenny Thompson. All right, so it looks like our top championship contender right now, Kenny Thompson, is going to put himself, looks like he's going to start 4th on the grid here. Paul Witt looks like he's going to be about 7th. James Yerger with not a great qualifying lap. Looks like he's going to be right back about the top 10. Mike Aiello Jr. is going to come home in 6th. So that's going to be your top 4. We're going to keep an eye on those 4 drivers tonight so you can bring home the championship.
And let's take a look at that starting lineup here for the Truck Series Championship right here on Sim Racing Media. Jim Duda going to sit on the pole position with Ted Reckick here on his outside. Aaron Thompson and Rupert Thompson, they're going to be in row number 2, while row 3 will be held down by Eric Scherer and Mike Aiello Jr. Paul Witt and Bud Light Mike are going to be in row 4, while the rest of your starting top 10 will be Braden Morey and Daniel Jackson. We move on into 11th position with James Yerger back here in his number 19 Toyota Tundra. And then, of course, we have Tody Seigel-Oliver to his outside in 12th position. Reggie Packer going to be in 13th with Arthur Hess in 14th, with row 8 going to be held down by Benjamin Hollabaugh and Gene Denmark. Then, of course, starting shotgun on the field, going to be Ben Pelletier and Matthew Bounds to round out the 18 trucks scheduled to take the green flag. But it looks like Benjamin Hollabaugh, he may be starting shotgun with Denmark, Pelletier, and Bounds still on pit road. So it's going to be an interesting night, as, of course, you know, Chris, 94 laps and 3 sets of tires with a fast repair. What are you looking for tonight as these trucks take off?
Just see if you can make that bottom work through that tri-oval area. You saw it to really take advantage. If you can get your car to work down in that flat section, down there in the flat section through that tri-oval, if you can get a run down there and get ahead of that guy up on that outside groove, it's definitely going to have more momentum than you. But if you can make that pass down there, you're going to make your way through this field.
The iRacing.com pace truck is going to peel on down pit road, and this is one of the most unique pit roads in NASCAR. I mean, you know, these cars are going to have, these trucks are going to have to make their way past the pace truck, and basically they're left to their own devices as they come here toward the front stretch. And as they move into turn number 3, folks, if this is your first time, this is the best time, because it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab your popcorn, your honey buns, and settle in. Race fans, it's show time! Green flag in the air, the championship on the line.
And Jim Duda with a great start right there. He's going to jump right out into the point. Couple truck length advantage over that second place truck of Aaron Thompson. Aaron got a good run down the bottom on the start and moved up into second, but now that 00 truck of Ted Reckick, I guess I'm going to get a bunch of names wrong here. Sorry, guys, but coming back up on the outside, but Thompson, again, fighting his way back on that bottom. And you can see as they come in this trial, we see a lot of these trucks diving down to the bottom on that flat section. But it does upset the truck when you come back up onto that banking. So you'll see the guys on the outside actually get a better run sometimes, even though the guys on the bottom are cutting off a lot of distance.
Bud Light Mike back here in a dogfight. Oh, the 51 of Daniel Jackson goes sideways, and we go under caution. Just happened to catch that at what could have been the wrong moment for him, as he's got the Mike and Ike Toyota Tundra all kinds of sideways. Of course, Jackson here with that Mike and Ike paint scheme. Maybe he hails from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, as that, of course, the home of Mike and Ike. Let's see what happened here to the 51. And there he is working underneath the 47. And it looks like he just simply got bit by that cold tire bug. The rear end steps out on the 51. He couldn't bring it back around.
That's going to happen early in this race like that. If you can't get some heat in those tires, it looked like he just got on the throttle just a little too hard coming off the corner there. Lost the truck. Did a good job of not making a lot of hard contact with the inside wall. Did brush it a little bit. But I think he's going to come away without much damage. Maybe come and get a fresh set of tires after flat spotting him.
Just going to take another look here at turn 2 where they were coming through. And there he is, just getting all kinds of sideways. We can see that camera action there. My goodness. Oof. That's got to be frustrating, especially when you're so early in the race. But, I mean, that also can tell you that, you know, you've got some opportunity here to get it right again as we take one final look at this. Ugh. He got on the brakes a little late. I think he thought he could save it with the throttle, and then realized it was time to lock him up and hold it down.
Yeah, he was pedaling for dear life there, just trying to get that truck straightened back out, but just wasn't able to do that. And he had a good top 10 starting position. I think Daniel was looking for a good run here, but he's back here in the back now. I think he got a lot of laps here to make up that mistake up.
St. Michael, Minnesota's very own Jim Duda in the 053 leading the way. And it goes Duda Rekic. I'm going to say Rekic. He's from Pittsburgh. So there could be some Polish mixed in there. That could be Rekic. Wrecked him hell, damn near killed him.
There you go.
Let's see if we can get a hold of old. Let's see if we can. No, you know what? I think they don't. Yeah, they're not going to have enough time to chat here as we work our way into turn 1 and 2. Once again, as I had mentioned earlier, now you see the pace truck here bringing us toward the exit of turn 2, and onto the backstretch, and all of a sudden, pace truck's gone. Pace truck's headed on down pit road, and I mean, these drivers now kind of have to police themselves. You can see the pace truck here on the right side of your screen. It's just not really favorable if you've got a heavy foot and you don't really know how to keep that pace speed. Jim Duda leads us into the O'Reilly Auto Parts restart zone. And Duda hits the restart zone, and off we go. What a jump he has over Aaron Thompson in the 4.
Just a big jump there from Duda. Just nobody behind him really expected him to take off when he did, and he puts about 4 or 5 truck lengths on the rest of this field in a big hurry. Let's see if he can keep up that pace there. That 4 truck, Aaron Thompson, working his way back up in a second. He's running up in front here so far this entire race. So far, our leading contender for the championship is Kenny Thompson. He's now moved up into the top 3 in that 39 Chevrolet.
Yeah, of course, his display name is Rupert Thompson, and quite frankly, I mean, listen, I'm not opposed to Kenny Thompson, but I feel like I could say Rupert with a British accent and sound a little bit like Stewie. Rupert!
Rupert?
Hopefully he doesn't have the same relationship with anybody that Rupert and Stewie have, good Lord. Jim Duda leads the way here, 0.6 of a second over Rupert Thompson.
Are we just going to give Rupert a new nickname, call him Teddy Bear?
I'm all about it. And here's Mike Aiello Jr. Now, Thompson just laid down fast time, but watch Aiello here in the 74 working underneath of Paul Witt in the 429. And Witt gets a really good exit here and down the backstretch as he starts to head down into turn 3. And now the 74 tries to knife his way underneath. This is going to be dangerous if they think they're going to try to keep this up, because that kind of a battle is almost unsustainable. And oddly enough, tonight here in the 16, no sponsor stock paint for Braden Morey.
If it wasn't the last race of the season, we could say you got some sponsorship opportunities there. Reach out if you're looking to put your name on a car.
Looking
or
here.
Truck.
Yeah, well, truck, car. You know what? I do that all the time. I switch between series. I do, and I sit and I think, I got it. Nope, never do. Reggie Packard here in the 29 DeWalt machine. That's kind of confusing. I keep trying to say the 20 machine or the 17. As now the DeWalt machine.
Got a good run up on the outside.
Oy, what a good run, I'll say. We're going to go on board here with Bud Light Mike. And, the thing is, when you're somebody like Bud Light Mike back here in the 47, you're just kind of hanging on. I mean, it's 11 laps in. You're running back in 12th position. You qualified in 8th. What goes through your mind as a driver?
You're just trying to find the right spot where you can take advantage of people's mistakes in front of you. Try to find some holes, and not screw up yourself, and just try to get to the front. But Bud Light Mike's kind of falling back through the field. He started in 8th, now back to 13th. Just lost another spot to Daniel Jackson there.
Braden Morey, we were just watching him a moment ago. He's still trying to hold off Paul Witt. Now, Witt's already worked up 1 spot. Morey's up 4. And right now, Morey is our big mover of the race in the plus column. Not a bad thing, that's for sure, here on Championship Week in the Gunr4sr Rating Truck Series. Want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Dave Regal and Chris Murphy with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast Booth. 94 laps the scheduled distance. Now, stage 1 going to end at the conclusion of lap number 30. Stage 2 going to end. Bud Light Mike just had himself a crash. Perhaps he had one too many Bud Lights. Let's take a look back here. Waiting for that all-important replay to kick off. There it goes. Taking a look back here at the 47. He was just behind caution number 1's cause. Hey. Oh. That almost looked like it was a hardware failure of some persuasion.
I believe he's disconnected completely from the game at the moment, so from the race game. So I think you might be on point right there.
You know, there's nothing more thank goodness for not having anything else. Let's see, he just goes off and it just yeah. Oy. We're going to look one more time here from the cockpit cam. Gets on the... Yep,
yeah,
that's a hardware failure if I ever saw one.
Yeah, that's definitely. Well, either that or he just fell asleep, one of the two. Or, not supposed to text and drive. Maybe he's a little preoccupied there and drove into the fence.
Here in Pennsylvania, you're not even allowed to think about your phone while you drive anymore.
And how are they policing that?
Very poorly.
So where are we at? So we have a stage break at lap 30. Is that correct?
Yep. Let's go ahead and get a hold of Mike Aiello Jr. Hey, Mike, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, brother?
Yeah, sure do. How you doing, Dave?
Hey, man, listen, obviously you, the Connecticut native here in the playoff hunt and here in the championship four, what's your mindset tonight? Is this a drive to the front kind of night, or do you have something there in that bag of tricks?
No, as you see, first off, in the truck series, we're limited to just 3 sets of tires, the one that we start on and then 2 in the pits. So we've got the stage at 30, and then the second half of the race, you got to do a green flag. So, throughout the season, you can play games as far as what you want to do and tire strategies. Tonight, it's just ride right here. All 4 of us are within 3-4 positions of each other. We make it through the first stage, and then, with I don't know, maybe 30 to go is when we put the heat on, but that's the strategy to right now. There's no points on the line for stage or anything like that, so it's just stay close to these guys, see how they drive, and set them up for later on.
I mean, realistically, that's how you guys got to be this championship for. I mean, making those smart decisions, making the right calls, and being patient throughout the season. So, obviously that's paying off, and I think it's great that the 4 of you are running so close together, if not all together. Just really good heads-up racing after such a long season.
Yeah, thank you. That's what it's all about, being smart and being respectful of the other drivers. We're going back green here, so thank you for talking.
Absolutely. We're going to cut you loose. Mike Aiello Jr., of course, one of our playoff drivers. They are getting ready to go back green. They hit the restart zone, and off we go right here on lap number 16.
And Jim Dude is really doing a really good job on these restarts. Both restarts we've had so far, he's been able to get a big jump there, 4 or 5 truck lengths again, just establish that lead, try to drive away from this field. But we got Reckitt now getting back up into that second spot, getting around Kenny/Rupert Teddy Bear Thompson. And a good battle going on there for second. I think, Thompson's just trying to do what he can to hold on, stay up towards the front, and be the top finisher here in this playoff chase.
Yeah, now he looks right here to the inside of the 00, the Recon Brewing Toyota Tundra. This Silverado of Thompson, though, holds his own. Let's take a look here and see if we might be able to rotate and watch the battle form. I mean, this is the kind of racing that, eventually will get you into that championship four. But after talking with Mike just a moment ago, I got to be honest, that's a really good perspective and a really good, mindset to have.
Yeah, Mike's just kind of hanging back there, as he said. He's just kind of hanging back, doesn't want to make any mistakes, just wants to be there at the end. We got the stage break at lap 30. And then after that, we're going to go green. They're going to no stage breaks from lap 30 to 94. So that's going to be a long run. So we're going to see maybe fuel come into play there, tire wear come into play. So he's just going to hang out here. I think most of these guys are doing the same thing, because we don't see a lot of guys putting a lot of pressure on anybody. just going to hang out and run here to get to that 30, to get to that first break at lap 30.
Yeah, I think that's one of the better things about stage racing, because you have that scheduled pit stop, or back in the day we would just call it a competition caution. For it rained last night and the racetrack's green, we're going to have a competition caution on lap 20. No, now we've got stages. It's scheduled. There's points. I mean, it makes it a little bit more fun, at least for the average fan like myself. As we go all but single file here from the 16 back through the 19. And, I mean, James Yerger here, he's drawing it a little bit closer to Aiello, but nothing crazy. And once again, we talk about those drivers that are coming up here. I mean, Kenny Thompson, we see him right now in the 39. He's our highest running playoff driver. Do they try to chase him down, or do they let him run away? They've got to chase him, right?
Well, I think they're gonna have to try to chase him down, but again, once they're gonna hang on to that lap 30, I think we're gonna see a lot more aggressiveness come out after that. But you look at a guy like Yeager here, is up to 8th now, moved up 3 spots, so he's gonna take a look underneath Witt there. But it's kind of an interesting position to be in, because you're wanting to. You're not in the championship race, but you want to put on a good show tonight for the fans and maybe get yourself a win. But at the same time, you don't want to get up there and make a mistake and maybe take out one of these top 4 drivers and be the guy that ruins somebody's chance at a championship.
Yeah, back during my own driving days, as the playoffs began to loom, I made the playoffs in an Xfinity series that I was in, and I felt like people should get out of my way to some degree, don't wreck my playoff chances. And then I became that kind of a cautious driver, because you don't want to ruin someone's playoff chances, especially when you're not that great, you're not in the playoffs, and it's the last race of the year. Don't get in the way of that championship for. I think that's the only time where I feel like a little bit of courtesy on the racetrack should be in order.
Oh, I agree 100%. But as we say that, Mike Aiello works his way around Paul Witt, moves up into that 6th position. And here we look at Yerger now working his way back up underneath Paul Witt. So Paul Witt looking to lose a couple of spots here in the last couple of laps. Drop back to 8th if Yerger can make the pass here. Looking like the top 3 all pretty tight together due to Reckitt and Thompson all within about a half a second of each other. So the top 3, looks like we're going to have a fight here before this stage gets to the end here. We are about 5 laps away now from that first caution. And Reckitt has worked his way up to the back, about maybe a truck length or 2 back from Duda. We'll see if they're going to fight, see if they get up to the front here before we hit that caution at lap 30.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those situations where you're 5 laps away from your competition caution, from the end of your stage break. And now you're behind Jim Duda. I mean, Reckitt isn't gonna wreck him. Does that make sense?
I sure wouldn't think so. I sure wouldn't think so. He knows we're coming to the caution. There's no really, like Mike said earlier in that interview, there's no points here. There's no really reason to get out to the front, unless you just want to be the first one into the pits at that caution. But as we say that, Reckitt taking a look to the inside.
I mean, as that sun goes down, this racetrack cools off. The nighttime becomes the right time here on lap number 28. And side by side they go. Now, Reckitt takes the dog leg. That's going to shorten that lap up and bring him almost wheel to wheel with the 053. And now they haul things into turn 1. The 39 behind the 00 could slam the door on the 053. Wow, nearly rubbing door handles down the backstretch. Duda's going to have to cut the nose off of Reckitt and maybe wreck him if he wants to maintain this. And all of a sudden, with just 2 laps left in stage 1, we now have a new leader for the time being. Ted Reckitt now gets around Jim Duda here on lap number 29.
And it seems like every time we try to I make an assumption here, I'm always wrong. I thought Reckitt would just kind of hang out there and just coast to the caution, but he says, no, I want to lead some laps here. So he makes a good pass there on Duda, and I don't know if Duda's getting some little bit of wear on the tires. He's actually kind of falling back into the clutches here at Thompson.
And there it is, your stage winner, Ted Reckitt, here on lap number 30. So Ted Reckitt going to get the stage win here on lap 30. I'm impressed. He waited until just the right moment, and it obviously pays off for him. So the Pittsburgh native, sir,
I'm kind of with you. Trying to figure out what's going on. We got a bunch of guys dove down to the pits. We got Duda still on the track, a few guys still on the track, so I'm not quite sure.
I mean, I haven't consumed any alcohol yet, so this is
Are you
confusing.
sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
I'm a little confused
it's
myself.
water in the cup.
So we've got Duda and Aiello now on the track. It looks like most of the fields ducked down into the pits.
I think we're going to have to interview Jim Duda.
Are they going to stay out on the track and not dive down in the pits and put some tires on?
No, not after 30 laps. They've got two. Well, no, because you can switch tires here, and then at the end of two.
Well, there is no stage break. There is no second stage break. They're going to go from here to the end.
Let's go ahead and dial up Jim Duda, driver of the 053. Hey, Jim, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I do, Dave. How you doing?
Buddy, I'm good, but if you could just shed a little bit of light on this situation. It looked like Ted Reckick just beat you out for the Stage 1 win, but everybody just came to some kind of a screeching halt down there at the entrance to pit road. What's going on down there?
We had to wait for the pit car here, or the pace car, and it just screwed us here because we have to pit.
Yeah,
no. Yeah, it is what it is, so I don't know what we're going to do here.
You had a really good Stage 1, man. I mean, you led almost right there to the very end. And as the pace truck lights go off, of course, we don't want to hold you up anymore. But listen, man, good, strong run there in Stage 1. Hopefully you can put another strong run together, even though now you missed that pit opportunity.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here.
All right, brother, listen, good luck here in Stage 2, and let's see what happens.
Thank you.
That the voice of Jim Duda, basically he was robbed. He's a victim of robbery, if you will.
Seems a little disheartened, which I don't blame him. I mean, I think they can go.
Whew.
I think these trucks can probably go to about lap 65 on fuel. But you got guys right behind him, all fresh tires, and Jim Duda and Mike Aiello kind of left out there to hang. So one of our championship contenders there, sitting here in second right now, but he was not able to come in and get tires, and he's got a pack of wolves right behind him, all on fresh rubber. I think Duda and Aiello are just sitting ducks at this point.
Yeah, and I don't want to try to read the tea leaves or anything, but the other thing that Jim Duda and Aiello can try to look at here is all these guys back there with the fresh tires are also cold tires, and they could be playing the averages and say, hey, listen, I can if they cause a caution here early, and look at this mess, they might there's the 19 sideways. We stay green. He's off the racing surface. I thought maybe they were going to try to play the averages a little bit. Now contact between the 13 and the 16. The 16 over-rotates. He's got to bring it back under control. Good Lord.
Yeah, Duda with another good restart. He's able to separate away from this kind of mess going on back here behind him. And all those trucks with new tires were kind of backed up there behind Aiello. But now Reckick is able to get around him and start his chase down and see if he can catch Duda here and take that lead back that he lost there when he came into the pits at the at lap 30.
You said Duda. Oh, I thought you meant Duty. My bad. You said Duda. Here we are working lap number 35 of 94. Dave Regal and Chris Murphy with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. Want to thank everybody for tuning in. And, of course, checking in with us over in the YouTube.com live chat. Cody Witt saying go Paul Witt and Jim Duda. Glad to have everybody over there. Make sure that you give us a holler. Let us know what you're watching, who you're watching for. As it is championship night in the Gunr4sr rating truck series right here on Sim Racing Media. As we saddle up together, and I'll tell you what, man, I mean, for our first time out together, this is quite a race as the double deuce now of Eric Shear gets right underneath Paul Witt in the 429. Of course, Cody Witt was just talking about it. And it looks like the 429 with a good run here into turn 3 might be able to maintain that. There's a lot of speed locked up there in that high side of the racetrack.
And I'm looking up at the front of the field right now, and we have 3 wide for the lead right now with a 16 truck of Brandon Morris now up underneath. Both him and Reckick both get by Duda. And now it's Morris and Reckick fighting it out for the lead, and Reckick gonna be able to get to the point.
That track temperature down to 84 degrees now. So grip is going to all of a sudden be absolutely prime. as we take a look at this battle for the lead.
And, you
And
see
Ted
Duda
Reckett,
just
Braden Murray,
struggling.
and my God, yeah. Duda is
He's
just
just
sliding back. I mean, this is those worn out tires.
Yeah, it looked like he was in real control of this race. Jumped out early, had a good run going, and then he's now paying for a little misfortune there of when the caution came out, when the safety truck came out. And he is just falling back through this field.
Yeah, and you know, I'm watching here. Let's watch, you know, Duda's lap time with Aiello just behind. Since lap 37, Aiello has been nearly a half second faster per lap after Duda was basically taking him out to the woodshed. But, you know, we're going to see those green numbers for Aiello start to gain as he gets closer and closer to the rear end of Duda. This is going to be an impressive lap time for Aiello as he's going to make that pass. Oh! So fast that we couldn't even see the number before it flashed away. Love it.
Yeah, you know, both those guys are right now just praying for a caution so they can come in and get some tires on, equalize this field back out. Reckon now starting to kind of stretch his lead out a little bit here.
Yeah, and I really thought that they would get one of the cold tire cautions. You know, wow. Did you see the way that suspension just bangs off of the apron for Ted Reckett?
Oh, yeah, coming across that off that flat area up onto the banking, it'll upset the trucks. You know, we talked to a couple guys last night, and about a season ago with these trucks, that was such a hard hit, it would actually damage the trucks. So we're
going to look right here at the right front suspension as he's going to come out of 4 and cross. Look at that travel. My God.
It's a handful to hang on to, and it's one of the reasons why you don't see the guys on the bottom just drive past the trucks on the outside on the banking, because they, you know, that banking give you a little bit better run, but you've got to lift a little bit when you get down on that flat, especially when you're transitioning back up onto the outer surface of the track.
Watching the number 4 Kodak of Aaron Thompson now all over the back of Rupert Thompson, or Kenny Thompson, as we work here on lap number 43. About 20 to go now in stage number 2. It's championship week. Of course, a quick peek here at our championship 4 as we work just, you know, literally creeping in toward the end of this piece. Rupert Thompson here in the 39. He's going to be on top of that pile for the time being. Paul Witt way back here in 10th position. James Yerger, he's even further back in 12th. And Mike Aiello has now slid back into 6th position. So right now it is Rupert Thompson, or Kenny Thompson's, championship to lose as he's got the 39 cranked up to crazy in front of Aaron.
Yeah, Thompson looks to be in control right now. Aiello on those old tires. Paul Witt falling back to the back a little bit, and Yerger just does not look strong all night long. But, you know, I keep watching this battle here with Thompson and Thompson. It makes me think of the old 80s band, the Thompson Twins. I guess I'm showing my age a little bit there.
Yeah, that one I'm not. I know we talked about us being the old guys, but.
But, you know, unless some mistake happens here, I think this is going to be Rupert/Kenny Thompson championship right here, unless something happens or he makes a mistake. Or I'd be surprised if we get through the rest of this race without at least one more caution. But as the field starts to thin out a little bit, the chances of that are also slimming down.
Woof. The 429 of Paul Witt nearly made contact with the 17 of Benjamin Hollabaugh. And Hollabaugh here in his Ford F-150, I thought that was going to be the one. He manages to hold it together, and I think that's one of the things that I find most impressive, as now he gets right up on the rear bumper of Arthur Hess in the 8 machine. We haven't really talked about Hess since the beginning of this race, but he has quietly climbed up 6 positions since the drop of the green flag. He qualified, you know, back there in 14th, and now runs up here in 8th.
Yeah, this is like one of the better battles on the track right now, this 8th, 9th, 10th position here with Hess, Hollabaugh, and Duda.
Ooh. Getting dangerous here.
Hollabaugh, is that how I'm
going to go with Hollabaugh.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I'm German. I'm fairly certain. We might be cousins. We could be. Except for those people. We had some
Go ahead.
cousins back from like 1933 to 1945 that we haven't heard from since. Can't imagine what happened.
And back to the race. Mike, the two drivers that got kind of hung out there, Mike Aiello and Jim Duda. Duda looks to really be paying for it as he's falling back to about 10th now. Mike's doing a good job. But he's still back up in the top 6. I think if he can hang out, like I said, if he can hang out to about lap 60 or 65, come in and get some tire, look contact there. As we're
Contact with the
looking
wall.
at this battle. Yeah.
This is a
Hess gonna get on the
four-way
wall.
battle
Hess
here.
gonna do this.
It's a four-way battle for 9th position, and Duda says he is going to hold on to this. You've got to peel this one away from his cold, dead hands. They're 3 wide behind him. They go back to double file. The 429 works to the low side now of the 8 of Arthur Hess. And as they rip on past our camera here in turns 1 and 2, wow! The 8 just kissed the wall and slipped it a little tongue as they head down the back chute into turn number 3. These drivers are turning up the heat now with just about 13 laps to the end of stage 2.
Yeah, I didn't see it in the announcements earlier, but this 8th position must have a bonus pay somewhere because these guys are really going at it for that 8 spot. And Duda gets away from this battle. Hollenbaugh, Witt, and Hess are all battling back and forth here, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Just a really great fight here, but good and clean. Good hard fighting, not anything dirty, just good racing, good solid racing going on here.
Yeah, I mean, right now it looks like things have calmed down for the time being. I feel like everybody's just got to catch their breath and maybe reload, because I can't imagine that they have too many shots left in the chamber after that battle. But now Braden Morey here, just 0.3 of a second ahead of Aaron Thompson. Kenny Thompson has slid back into 4th position, and Ted Reckick is starting to run away here for the time being with a 2.5-second lead over Morey.
Yeah, I was just looking up here at the front, and here we have Thompson falling back to 4th, but Aaron Thompson is now looking to find a way around Morey for that 2nd spot as he's worked his way up into 3rd. And Rupert or Kenny, what are we gonna go? We're gonna go with Rupert or Kenny? I keep saying both of them.
I think we should just go with Rupert because it's what I'm reflexing to by reading.
That's good. So we'll go with Rupert. So Rupert, I think he's just sitting there in that 4th spot. He knows he's in the best position right now to win the championship, and I don't think he's going to do anything crazy or stupid here.
No,
But
and
then again,
Aaron Thompson,
I mean,
that's fair. I mean, Aaron Thompson just slid on by Braden Morey, and now he's going to have to put his sights on Ted Reckick, who is just running away. I mean, you can see here from the roof of the 4 machine that Reckick's already rolling out of turn 4 while he's mid-transition between 3 and 4.
Yeah, it looks like right now this is Reckick's race to lose. He's almost got a 3-second lead over this battle here for a second. And as we say that, Mike Aiello and Duda both going to dive down into the pits, get those fresh tires that they were lacking earlier, but that's going to put them a lap down here.
Well, they're going to get that. One of them will get the lap back at the caution. One of them. And now it's going to be a matter of who it's going to be. Aiello came in on lap 50. Hess is in now. Hey.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see another mandatory caution. I believe that the 30 lap break was the only mandatory caution we're going to have, if I read their rules correctly.
No, stage length was 30 and 64.
Okay, all right. I hope
So
you're
there
right.
should be a stage break at 64.
So we got 9 laps left to go until that then.
Give or take 7 or 8. That could really mess things up. Don't count on me.
Well, it seemed like that last one came out about a lap early, so that kind of messed me up earlier.
You got to be careful. Sometimes my math is more like meth.
And that is never productive, my friend.
No, not unless you need to clean your house really well. See, you gotta live where I do. That's just normal. The 17 of Benjamin Hollenbaugh. Welcome to Philadelphia. Here's your spoon. Benjamin Hollenbaugh here in the. Benjamin Hollenbaugh was just trying to lay something down here behind Paul Witt and backed off almost instantly. You got to wonder if maybe he's thinking about an early pit, and he is.
He's coming in. He's coming in, or he's got trouble. One of the two here. He looks like he's slowing down awful early, coming into the pits. I think has he got a tire down?
I can't imagine.
Well, he dove in off the racetrack awful early for that pit entrance. I would have thought he could have gone around a little further.
Unless he didn't take enough fuel.
Potentially. So we're seeing some
I
guys
mean,
come in for their second stops now.
Let's see, and maybe that's part of the strategy. Again, I am not a driver anymore.
No, and being new to this league, I'm not sure. Did they have like a limited fuel allotment?
I mean, he was at 1180 and coasting in.
Yeah. So he may have ran out of fuel there.
Well, he would have been on the clutch and just, trying to save if he needed to bump himself. Well then, that's going to change things.
I went blank. Sorry about that. I was looking up at the standings at the moment.
Ted Reckick leads the way.
Wow, we were thinking the exact same thing right there.
I mean, great minds and all that jazz. Okay, so Reckick's going to come in now. Maybe they aren't going to stop on lap 64?
I don't think they are. But it can't be a fuel issue because both Aiello and Duda went to Aiello went to lap 50, Duda went 53.
Rupert just rubbed the wall. Who is this back here? I just saw somebody down the...
I think that's Hollabaugh still just now coming out of the pits. But now we got Rupert Thompson out in front as Reckick has come into the pits for his second stop.
Oh, Rupert! You've taken the lead!
I'm not even going to try to do... I can try to do a Brian impression. Oh, I got somebody sideways there.
Hey.
Who was that? I didn't see that. I'm sorry. I'm looking up at this YouTube stream, and I'm a little behind.
You're fine. Rupert
I'm
Thompson...
going to have to work... If we're going to keep covering these guys, I got to work on my Brian impression, I guess.
Yeah, especially if they're going to put us together. Rupert coming into pit road. Yeah, this is not a fuel issue for him. He made it down, no problem. That turns the lead over to Eric Shearer. It's lap 63. Daniel Jackson and James Yerger, they have yet to come in. Paul Witt, same way, up here in the 429. Lap number 64, 30 to go now. Here in championship week for, of course, the Gunr4sr Rating Truck Series. I got to tell you, I'm curious when these top four are going to come in. Jackson and Yerger go. Shearer's going to stay out. Paul Witt's going to stay out.
So it looks like right now, or as these pit stops are going to shake out, it looks like it's going to be Thompson still coming out of the pits. Maybe Aaron Thompson going to come out with a lead here, as he is in front of Reddick right now. Reckick.
Keep trying to go with Reddick, huh?
Yeah. I think once these pit stops shake out, I think we're going to see Aaron Thompson in that Ford truck out in front. Mike Aiello looks like maybe he might have put himself in a good position here because, he went 50 laps. We're going 94. He can definitely go to the end, and right now he's got himself in position in front of Rupert Thompson. But I think we're going to see a battle here down for this championship with Aiello and Thompson here before it's over with.
66 laps in the books. Shearer and Witt going to lead the way. Kind of curious what we're going to see here. Looking out the rear view mirror for Witt, of course, Bugs Bunny from Splash and Go Graphics chasing here. And the Bismarck, North Dakota native now being passed as drivers are going to be trying to get that lap back the good old-fashioned way. And he's almost trying to block the four. I don't know if that's a smart idea, but hey, it's not my truck.
So it looks like Thompson's going to find his way around in there. So Shearer going to fall back here. Is he just getting his lap back there at that point?
You got to wonder what Shearer's waiting for. I mean,
a caution? I'm not sure. He's going to fall way back out of the top 10 here by the time he makes it into the pits.
I think that's the hardest thing, for anybody when you're trying to work on that strategy. You either go too soon and now you've cooked your stuff. Now you almost have to take a second, pit stop just to get on the same cycle as everybody else. Or you wait too long, as it appears that Shearer and Witt have done, and now they're risking getting run over twice.
Yeah, you can see all these trucks that came in on the fresh tires are just driving past Shearer like he's sitting still. Got the 17, the 00, and the 00, double aught, however you want to say it, and then 13 truck all going by him here.
I don't know if I want to go with the double aught or the 00. You know what? I've never thought about that.
It's a West Coast thing, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are the double aught, I believe. I mean, you can have it. Like, I'm not upset about it. The West Coast has a lot of things that you guys can keep. You know, Kamala Harris.
I'm in Oregon,
Too soon?
California.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't. You know what's terrible? I don't even think I know who your senators are. Huh.
You're not missing a whole lot.
Yeah, I feel like they must be a pretty quiet bunch up there, huh?
Fortunately, no. Unfortunately, no.
They can't be worse than the degenerates that we've elected. Eric Shearer and Paul Witt still leading the way time-wise, but they're starting to give up a little bit more real estate as Aaron Thompson and Ted Reckick, Braden Morey and Rupert Thompson have all gotten their laps back the old-fashioned way.
Well,
Checking in.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, checking in with our championship 4. We see Rupert Thompson here running in what's effectively 5th position now as he gets around Braden Morey. Paul Witt technically leads the way as far as highest running, but he's going to have to give that up. James Yerger is just having a really depressing night back here in 9th position, and Mike Aiello has got to be just angrier than almost anybody as he got kind of hung out to dry as well.
You know, if they started this race with 100% fuel load, they could go from lap 30 to the end of this race at 94. So potentially that may be the strategy here with Shearer and Witt. They may just going to go the distance here and see if Thompson can make up that 15 or 16 seconds back on him.
Checking here, fuel is 65%, so they definitely can't make it.
Oh, gotcha. Thank you for
that means that they should be able to. That means that they should be just about out at 65%, filling on lap 30.
Yeah, they're going to have to come in here pretty soon.
They're literally. I was going to say they should be somewhere in and around between 3 and 7 laps, as we're 20 to go now here at Phoenix Raceway. Championship night here in the Gunners for Safety Rating Truck Series. Dave Regal and Chris Murphy with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. If you like what you see, make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications. Let us know where you're watching from and who you're watching here on the racetrack. And, of course, if you haven't done so already, make sure that you download, go to your Apple Play Store, Apple App Store, or your Google Play Store and download the WMGH app, 105.5 WMGH. Tune in tomorrow morning on the 8s from 5:08 through 9:08. If you like hanging out with me here every hour for no reason at all.
What kind of, am I going to hear some good country music or?
Nope, it is just the news tomorrow on the 8s. And, of course, actually, honestly, we have a great mix of music over at WMGH. I mean, to me, I put it on in my shop at work, and I mean, there's a really good, decent mix. Everything from like the 70s through the 80s, 90s, and they sprinkle in today. It's pretty good.
Well,
and of course, I don't know.
To you tonight, I'm going to download the app tomorrow.
My man, that's what I'm talking about. You download the 105.5 WMGH app wherever you get your apps. And if you tune in on a Sunday morning from 10 a.m. Eastern through 1 p.m. Eastern, you can also listen to the great Polka Joe and the Magic Polka Machine. And I wish I was kidding. We have listeners. We have listeners from as far away as Arizona. They came to Polka Joe's 50th anniversary celebration last May here in Pennsylvania. They flew from Arizona to Pennsylvania to celebrate 50 years of Polka Joe and the Magic Polka Machine. Swear to God.
Fantastic. I am booking my tickets right now for the 51st.
I wish I could make it up.
Back to the race a little bit. Shearer pits. loses the lead, hands it over to Paul Witt. Now Paul Witt's coming into the pit, so that's going to give Aaron Thompson the lead in that Ford truck. And he has got Reckick right behind him, about 2 seconds back now. Oh, less than a second. Sorry, I had to update my live time scoring. Yeah, three of our 4 championship drivers in the top 6 right now, with Rupert Thompson third, Michaela sitting in 5th, and Jurger right there behind him in that 6th spot. Jurger was kind of running out towards the back of this field for most of the race, but he's now worked his way up about a half a second back from Aiello. Maybe he's got a little something here late in this race. He's holding his cards tight. He's gonna show us what he's got here towards the end and work his way to the front.
I hope it was just a fluke, but I just noticed that Rupert Thompson had a connection issue.
Looks like he's still hanging on out there right now. I like that championship graphic you got up there in the top right-hand corner.
Well, you know, so many of my leagues that I've called over the years have had championship nights here at Phoenix, just like the real world, that I made sure to save that one a couple of years ago and cleaned it up.
Looking back to this battle for 5th, we were talking about Jurger, and he is working at the outside of Aiello right here. He's going to drive right past him, take that 5th spot away. But
Aiello's not done yet.
No, he's fighting back on that flat spot on the inside to that tri-oval. And Aiello with a good run right there, but I think you're going to see Jurger drive past on the outside. You're just going to get too much momentum on that banking. You can see him get that good run off the corner, and he's going to clear him down the straightaway here, but just not enough to move down in front. Oh, and as I say that, he does move down in front.
Just when you thought you knew what was happening, something else went sideways. Love it.
I gotta quit trying to guess stuff, I guess. But Jurger working his way to the front here. He is now 2nd out of our 4 championship drivers, sitting back in that 5th spot. But he is about 7 seconds back right now, looking from Rupert Thompson. And as we look back up towards the front, Reckick works his way back around Aaron Thompson to take the lead.
And here we are in the twilight of this race with 10 laps to go. Dave Regal and Chris Murphy with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. You're watching the Gunners for Safety Rating Truck Series as Ted Reckick has taken over the lead in the 00 with the 4 machine of Aaron Thompson in tow, less than 0.2 of a second behind. Rupert Thompson back here. He's our highest running playoff driver, and right now I think Rupert Thompson is a happy camper. He's got nearly 6 seconds back to Braden Morey, about 1.5 seconds up to Aaron Thompson. As long as that, now that's the second time I saw that, as long as that connection holds out for Rupert Thompson, we're going to be just fine, and he's going to be talking to us from victory lane.
Yeah, less than 9 laps left to go, 8 laps left to go right now. He's looking pretty for that championship. Like you said, he's got a good gap back to Morey. I don't think he's really going to put a lot of pressure on these guys up in the front. I think he's going to let Reckick and Aaron Thompson fight out for this win. He's going to sit back in that 3rd spot, and just be really happy with it, take home this championship. We don't see Jurger making up a lot of ground. Jurger has made his way up to the back of Morey's truck for that 4th spot, but he'd have 6 seconds to catch Rupert Thompson from there. And I just don't think he's got enough time to do it.
No, the sands in the hourglass are definitely starting to fade away. I mean, you know, when you're down into the single digits here in this season with 7 laps to go, you've got to, you know, crap or get off the pot. And Rupert Thompson is just, that connection for Thompson is just scary. I mean, we've already had one driver, you know, Bud Light Mike tonight, just bail out with a hardware failure. Could be an internet failure. We don't want to see that a second time.
No, definitely not with your championship contender right there. That would just be really disappointing.
I've seen it happen. It happened 2 years ago in Tuesday Night NASCAR. Yep. I thought that driver was going to go ballistic. He was screaming. When he logged back in, he was like, restart it, because it happened on like lap 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It happened on lap 3. He didn't get logged back in until like lap 20.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
He was on satellite internet, and it dumped out during a storm. And he was screaming to restart the race, and of course you can't.
Yeah.
Watch the double deuce here of Eric Shearer underneath Jim Duda in the 053. He just slung himself around and is now running away from Duda. As Ted Reckick, our race leader, is just ahead of Aaron Thompson and Rupert Thompson. And Rupert Thompson leads our championship 4 with 4 laps to go.
And Rupert Thompson's actually made up some ground on the back of Aaron Thompson here. He's within about he's less than a second behind right now. So top 3 trucks all separated by a total of about 2 seconds. So we still could see this shake out here with only a couple laps left to go.
4 laps left for Aaron Thompson to see if maybe he can allow Rupert a little bit closer, 3/4 of a second. But this is a 3-way battle. You can throw a blanket over the top 3 for the time being. Another hiccup for Rupert Thompson. Oh, God, 3 laps to go. And Rupert Thompson, who, you work all season long, you put the time in, you practice, you qualify well, and you finish consistently. This is what it's all about here. And as they roll out of turn 4 one more time here, the popsicle sticks go in the air. We're 2 laps to go.
Yeah, I guess the net connection is kind of like the real world version of you see the oil pressure starting to drop, truck's getting a little bit hot. You're just hoping it hangs on just for that last couple of laps to bring home this championship.
That's a really good analogy. I don't think I've ever thought about that, but yeah, if you were going to translate the sim to the real world, absolutely. And as Ted Reckitt crosses the start-finish line, the popsicle sticks go down. The white flag is in the air, and we're racing back to checkers. Ted Reckitt leads the way here into turns 1 and 2 with Aaron Thompson about a second behind. Rupert Thompson, of course, Kenny Thompson, as he's listed, has the 39 machine cranked up as hard as he can. He's got about 7 3/4 back to 4th position, and rolling out of turn number 4 is Ted Reckick. He's going to capture the checkered flag. Aaron Thompson finishes 2nd, and Rupert Thompson is your Gunner for Safety rating Truck Series champion.
Coming home at 4th is going to be Brandon Morey, and James Yerger coming home in 5th, going to be 2nd in that championship with Micah Ella right behind him in that 6th position. Eric Shearer, Jim Duda looked really good early on. Looked like he might have had a chance for the win. Ends up falling back to 8th after some bad luck with that safety truck coming out. Daniel Jackson and Paul Witt, your 4th championship contender, going to round out the top 10.
Reggie Packer going to bring it back in here in 11th position. He's going to be your last driver on the lead lap, as Ted Reckitt going to celebrate on the start-finish line, and Rupert Thompson ready to burn it down as well, as we're going to have dueling donuts. Of course, the Shriners Children's 500 logo right here in the foreground of your screen. Shriners Hospital is very important in our country. We've got one here in Philadelphia, and of course, they provide cost-free care for children of all ages and ailments. Shriners are a great group of guys, but they are going to go nose-to-nose here, are Ted Reckick and Rupert Thompson. Let's see if we
Good
can...
dump. Great answer.
Let's see if we can get a hold of Ted Reckick. I don't see him. There he is. Hey, Ted, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Wrong guy.
Nope, I got Jim Duda. I just had Ted. Hey, Ted, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Dave, how we doing?
Buddy, I'm good from over here at the other end of I-76. Obviously, you've had yourself a good night bringing home the win on championship week.
Yeah, it feels good. These guys are always so much fun to run with. They're so clean. They race hard. Congrats to Kenny on the championship. I know they fought all season long for that. So,
yeah, man. I mean, listen, you had a great night as you worked the truck over there to Victory Lane. I always thought that this was kind of a unique thing for iRacing, that you can still navigate to Victory Lane here at at Phoenix Raceway. I mean, a great shot here of the 00. What are you looking forward to as you get ready to close the book on this season and head on into next season?
Honestly, it's just going to be the same thing, man. I'm just hoping for a more productive year. I unfortunately, with my work schedule, can't run for points just because of 20. I work in a steel mill and it's 21 turns, so there's only so many races I can make. I wish I could run for the points with these guys and try to make a run at it, but I'm really looking forward to the competition next year. I know Eric's been working on recruiting, getting a couple good guys in here and making the fields a little more stout. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Okay, everybody raise your hand if you're surprised that the guy from Pittsburgh works in a steel mill.
Yeah, it's pretty fitting, I guess.
Yeah. Congratulations on Aaron Rodgers, by the way.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
That's what they said in New York. It didn't work out. But
Right.
listen, man, you go ahead and celebrate with all of yours, and congrats, and we'll see you next season.
All right, thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys doing the broadcast for this race. That means a lot for these guys. So we'll move on from there and hopefully see you guys back next year.
All right, brother man, congrats.
Congrats,
All right,
Ted.
thank you. Take care, guys.
And last but certainly not least, now I don't see Aaron Thompson, but I do see our champion, Kenny Thompson. Hey, Kenny, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Man, what a race you ran tonight. I mean, being as, at least for my money, as consistent as humanly possible. That's how you get, to me, that's doing it the right way. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, I would have loved to have won the race, but that wasn't the most important thing tonight. The most important thing was just beating the other three in the championship four. So just tried to keep my nose clean and do what I had to do.
Well, and you did it the right way. I mean, being able to bring this one home, championship style, that, like you just said, is the most important thing. I think sometimes people get a little bit, cloudy, and they want both things, but you can't be too greedy. And the championship lasts a lot longer than that weekly win.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, like I said, I would have loved to have the win, but the championship was much more important, and love racing with these guys. So try to run everybody clean, and yeah, it's just a great group of guys.
All right, brother. Well, listen, before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank and tip your helmet to for, of course, having a successful season here in the 39 Chevrolet Silverado?
Yeah, I just gotta thank everybody that helps me out, and sponsors and all that, and gotta thank Eric for putting on the league. It's like I said, great organization.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, congratulations, and we will see you next season.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
That, of course, the voice of your champion here tonight, Kenny Thompson, driver of the 39. We want to thank him for his time. And before we close things out, we're going to step aside and pay some bills here on Sim Racing Media. We want to thank everybody for tuning in, and we will be right back. And welcome back here to Phoenix Raceway. Dave Regal and Chris Murphy with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We're going to take one final look here at our results, and at least for the evening, that is. And Chris, what a race we had.
Just a great race here at Phoenix. Ted Reckitt just dominated this race. He kind of fell back a couple times during some pit stops and stuff, but he looked like the truck to beat just about all night long. Unfortunately, we had Jim Duda out there in the front for a little while and got caught with his pants down on that 30-lap flag. But Reckitt just showed his domination. And just you could hear the excitement in his voice after that race. It can be kind of, it's having raced in real life and done a lot of sim racing. It is crazy that you sometimes get a little more nervous doing this than actually in real life, and you could hear that in Ted's voice when you talk to him there. So just a really great race. Just really happy to be here in the booth with you tonight, Dave. Just had a lot of fun. Hopefully we can get back together sometime soon.
Yeah, we're going to have to get a hold of the scheduling gods for that one because it's been a lot of fun. And before we get out of here, we're going to take one final look at the results. Ted Reckick picks up the win tonight here at Phoenix Raceway, and he's joined on the podium by Aaron Thompson. And, of course, bringing home not only the a podium finish tonight, but, of course, the all-important Gunners for Safety Rating Truck Series Championship is Rupert Thompson. Braden Moore comes home in fourth with James Yerger rounding out the top five. Mike Aiello Jr. in sixth with Eric Shearer, Jim Duda, Daniel Jackson, and Paul Witt rounding out your top 10. Reggie Packard comes home in 11th with Benjamin Hollabaugh, Cody Siegel-Oliver, Arthur Hess, Bud Light Mike, Gene Denmark, Ben Pelletier, I'm going to call him. We're going to call him the Frenchman.
French. I think that's good. Yeah.
Pelletier and Matthew Bounds going to round out the remainder of the field. So for myself, Dave Regal, and my broadcast partner extraordinaire, Mr. Chris Murphy, we want to thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us this evening. We want to thank you for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be, and however you may be listening. And tomorrow and every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everyone.